Hello, hello, hello. Teacher Bridget here. I am here to film the intermediate mock lesson A. I'm not going to do it real time, because to me, this is the easier lesson. I don't have to do as much work, in my opinion, as I do with the lower levels, and you'll see why. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this small. Okay. So, I'm not gonna sit there and wait because a lot of this video you won't hear me talk. You'll hear most of this video, it'll be this because it's a level 4. It's a level 4 lesson. So they're gonna be doing all the talking. So I can't show you the slides, but I can go through them. So you would start off with, "Hello, my name is Teacher Bridget. What's your name?" "Hi, Susie. It's nice to meet you." Then you're going to ask them two questions, like getting to know you, icebreaker questions. At this level, you can ask them things like, "What did you do today?" What It would be really cool if you knew the time in Beijing at the time of your interview. So like right now, if I would talk level 4, I would say, "What are you going to do today?" Or "What did you do yesterday?" Because it's 9:30 in the morning. So I would ask, "What did you do today?" You could ask what your favorite subject in school is. You could ask, like if you ask, "How are you?" Like a lot of these kids at level 4 will go, "Hi, teacher. I'm happy. I did my homework today. Okay, let's start." Like like they do like the same like the routine of everything. So I kind of like to mix it up. So yeah. So you'd be like, "Hi." Okay, and then you ask them you could ask them how old you are, but that's really like a lower level. "What did you do today?" Or "What are you going to do today?" And they'll tell you. And then you could say, "What's your favorite subject in school?" And then you're like, "Okay, are you ready to go?" And honestly, level 4s and 5s you can talk to them like real people, but you have to be extra bouncy for this mock. All right, so first slide, it says vocabulary, and it tells you to student defines or teacher defines country to student. Now, what I do is any words in red other than like the word China, I introduce. Like I'll go, so like for the first slide, I'll say it says teacher defines country, but it says China is a country. The USA, UK, and Japan are also some other countries. Which country are you from? So for these slides, honestly, because I've done this before in a mock, I'll say country. Good. Now because I'm doing a mock, I make them say it twice. Country. Good job. And then I'll say, "Can you read?" And I'll circle the slide, or just, you don't even have to circle the slide. You can just say, "Can you read?" And they'll say, "China is a country. The USA, UK, and Japan are also some other countries. Which countries are you from?" And then I'll say, which country are you from?" And then they answer. And then you can talk about it if you want to say, "Oh, I'm from America." And then you could even go back in, like, depending on, you kind of have to feel how the mock interviewer is kind of acting. But if you feel like you can say, "Oh, well, my family," you could even like go back into like, "Oh, well, my ancestors are from Ireland," or whatever, and go into that. Okay, so the next slide is flag. So I'll go, "Flag, flag." Good. "Can you read?" And they say, "This is China's flag. It is a symbol of China. We can see the Chinese flag in many places." And then you ask them, "What color?" Now, this is all in the notes. You ask them, "What color is it?" Okay. "And what's on the flag?" 5 stars. Okay, good job. So I'm not reading any of this information. even though it says teacher introduces the Chinese flag to student, the only thing I do is go over the words. Now, things you need to be careful about is, especially in a little bit, um, them reading really fast, them skipping words. If they screw up, you need to tell them, just like what I told you in the other mock. If they screw up, you need to tell them. Now, there's something I do. If it's like a quick sentence they're doing, I wait for the end of the sentence and I correct them. If it's a paragraph, what I do is I go and every word they mispronounce or something they skipped or whatever, I'll underline or circle it and I'll tell them. I'll say, because this is upper level, they can understand. I'll say, especially if it's like a big, either I'll do it at the very beginning of class and tell them, or I'll do it like you'll see in the lesson, like they're learning vocab now, but usually there's like a longer reading. I'll say, okay, when you read, if I underline, just ignore it. It just means that you like, pronounced it wrong or something, and we'll go back after you're done. Just don't stop. Just so they know, because some kids are like so scared. They're like, oh my God, what happened? And then they'll like stop and like they'll lose their flow of reading, and that's not what you want. So, all right. So the next slide is the word represents. So I'll say represents. Good, represents. And I'll say, can you read? And the student will say, this flag represents China. When you see a Chinese flag on something, you know it is Chinese. And then it says, check for understanding. You ask, what does the Chinese flag represent? Then they answer the question. And that's pretty much all you do. Okay. And then another vocab word, it's capital. Capital. Can you read? And they read, Beijing is the capital of China. A capital is the city where the government is. The government is next to Tiananmen Square. And I didn't know that word until I was like, So I was like, I'm just going to assume that the mock interviewer is going to say it right. So I just took a chance on that, and she did. Let's see here. So then you ask, what other capitals do you know? And these are all in the notes. So then you go over that, other capitals. And I always loved, because I'd be like, I tell my kids I live in Washington, D.C., because it's just a very big city that they know about. So I'd be like, just because Washington, D.C. is the capital of America, or whatever. Okay, so the next one is a role play type thing. So I'll say, can you read? And they say, there are lots of beautiful and interesting places in Beijing. These places are called, landmarks. So the words that are red. So the words that are red are landmarks in the Great Wall. So I go over those. Landmarks. Landmarks. The Great Wall. And I might circle the picture of the Great Wall. It's on the slide. The Great Wall. Good. Can you read? And only have them read like the first paragraph where it says, there are lots of beautiful and interesting places in Beijing. These places are called landmarks. Then I would print out Mike and Meg puppets and say, okay, I'll be Mike, you be Meg. And then I'll say, what landmark is this? And then they'll say, this is a Great Wall. And you just move the puppet and then you switch. Okay. And I'll say, okay, now you be Mike and I'll be Meg. What landmark is this? This is a Great Wall. Okay. That's all you do. The next slide is let's read. This is the slide that I can tell you when I took my mock, she read really, really, really fast. And you can do two things. If I were teaching this class, so let me read the paragraph. It is, my country is China. It is a very large country in Asia. I live in a city called Beijing. Beijing is the capital of China. It is in the north of China. The government of China can be found in Beijing. Before the government of China was in the south, in another city called Nanjing. So if I were actually teaching this class, which I actually haven't done yet, and they were to go really, really, really fast, I would have interrupted them entirely, because it's a really long paragraph, and I didn't want them to have to redo it. I would have been like, whoa, 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 time out. So you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually waited for her to stop, And then I said, that was a great job, but you were really fast and I had a hard time understanding you. Can you please slow it down and read it again? So, based on your pacing, um, you might decide what's going to happen. They're probably going to do something to like do something wrong in this slide because it's a really easy slide to do something wrong with. And then down at the bottom, you say some related questions like what country is it, which city is it, that they just talked about, like to check for understanding. Okay, the next slide is I need a tour guide. So this is another thing. So I don't have the puppets for this, but and you don't even need them. But because at this point we've done a couple different things. Oh, and also don't forget in between. Oh, you do a good job. So the thing with the older kids is there's no like slide for secondary awards like they are in the beginner. In the beginner, it's like the first slide after the title slide. It'll say it'll have like an interactive thing. So you have to remember, like especially for the mock, um, that they're not going to have that slide because honestly, in level 4 or 5, I'm not giving these secondary rewards. I give the stars, which are like electronic stars on the website, but you need to do it for the mock. So I'd be like, if you do a good job, you get a star. And these are the stars that I got the other day from the Etsy shop. Um, so anyway, I probably would have given 2 stars at this point. Now again, I don't really do this. A lot of teachers that teach the older kids do this thing, and I haven't even gotten into it. And I'm about to look into it for myself. It's on Google Slides, and it's like a number thing. It's like 5 or 6 numbers, and they pick a number, and you push the button, and it's a really interactive Google slide, and it'll be like a funny GIF or something that they can watch as a reward. So anyway, this slide is a lady, looks like she's from India, saying, I need help. I'm going to China very soon. Can you please tell me something about China? And then next is a blurb that another little boy says, and it's fill in the blank. So I'll say, can you read and fill in the blanks? And then they'll say, this is China. Beijing is the capital. That is the Chinese flag. It represents China. It is red and gold. There are 5 stars on the flag, and it's pretty obvious what it is. Then the next slide is grammar. So it's are not equals aren't. So I'd go are not aren't. You can do a couple different things. You can do that. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I'll say are not aren't. Or you could do, where am I? You could write are not aren't. There's a bunch of different things. You could actually write it on here. Are plus not equals aren't, even though it's on the slide. It would be another prop. Let's see here. So then I would be like, can you read? And then you'd make them read. They are not from China. They aren't from China. And then I'd say, do not don't. Don't. And then I say, can you read? They do not speak Chinese. They don't speak Chinese. And then it tells you in the notes, you say, when we put the words are and not together, we lose the letter O in the word not and replace it with an apostrophe. So it literally tells you what to say. I might say that first though. And then don't, same thing. And then you go to the next slide. Can you read and fill in the blank? They are not Chinese landmarks. They aren't Chinese landmarks. They do not work for the government. They don't work for the government. Good job. You get another star. A whale. And if you really need to take up time because you're like going super fast, get rewards. Like I could say you get a star, but I could also go over the color of each animal. I could go over the name of each animal. So there's lots of things for extensions on these little star things. Okay, so the next slide and the last slide. And it says tell students when the letter C is followed by E or I, C often makes the same sound as the letter S. This sound is called the soft C sound. And then I'll say ice. And then I'll make them read the other 2 words, rice and face. And then I'll go T, city. And then I'll make them read cigar and pencil. And then I'll be like, you did a great job today, Susie, or whatever your name was. You got 5 stars. I'll see you next time. Bye. And then the mock teacher will come and talk to you about how awesome you did. So as that's my whole point is that you literally the only talking that I'm doing is I'm pronouncing, having them repeat the words that are in red in the slides. And I'm playing like the role of Mike when I need to. Like whenever there's a role play. That's literally, and then introducing are, not, aren't, do, not, don't. So it's a lot less work, in my opinion. And then at this point, you just need to correct pronunciation. And if they're like going too fast, like stop them and tell them to slow down. And correcting any mistakes. That's really all you're doing. All right, so that is A, and I am going to go ahead and do B. All right, bye.